Hi, I'm Brittany and welcome to Proverbs Study. So today we are studying Proverbs 5:19. Proverbs 19 reads, "Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love." So this is in reference to your own wife or your own spouse, that the Bible and this chapter of Proverbs is encouraging us to not only find, but enjoy talking about in your social life. So, in the thought of enjoying your spouse, this is still in contrast to the strange woman. Enjoy your spouse, someone who you have made a covenant with to be with for the rest of your life. Now the Bible is admonishing us further in this office of a person, this wife. Let her be is not interpreted. So that's just like a phrase for English speakers to understand. But it starts with the loving, which is ahav, hind, which is ayethet, and pleasant roe. So and roe are the same word. Yahala, present, is the word hen. Let satisfy thee is rava. Her breast is dad. At all times is kol, and times is eith. And be thou ravished, shagal, always talmid, with her love, ahava. So the loving hind and pleasant roe. So all of that is describing the woman, is figurative of the wife once again, and the way that it's interpreted. So ahav it means love, and it also means figurative of wife. Ahialet, which is the hind, so the loving hind is referring to a doe or a female deer, and pleasant roe, female, is figurative of wife as well. So this can be interpreted as the loving wife who is a woman, or as the loving woman who is your wife. Either way that this is read, it helps us to understand, number one, what God and the Word thinks of a woman, and how He has created the woman to be. So the woman has been crafted and formed in a particular way. And when you think about a woman and you think about her being the mother of all, and just the ability to have this sweetness about her, the softness of her skin, the softness of her curves, all of that is what this passage is exploring, this particular verse is exploring. So as this woman, when you think about a woman, so it's asking you to be in the mindset thinking about a woman who is your wife, and not only just your wife, but your loving wife. So the one who is the object of your love, but also who you are the object of their love. So this comparison with a deer, if you think about a deer and how just beautiful deers are as well, the Bible does a lot of comparison or figurative language when it comes to the beauty of a deer and the beauty of a woman. So the mindset that the Bible wants us to be in is to let yourself be satisfied by the beauty of this woman, specifically her breasts. And this word satisfy thee is be saturated, drink one's fill, drench, water abundantly, and specifically sexually in this particular passage. So in contrast to the strange woman, who the goal of that strange woman, you meeting up with a strange woman or a strange man, is sex. If you have your wife who you appreciate as being loving and you appreciate her as being a woman, this wife, be saturated in her love, be ravished, be drenched, be watered abundantly sexually in her love, right? So this contrast is a loving and a sweet contrast. The Bible wants us to see how, when you have a wife, when you have someone that you are committed to, you can enjoy this person in every way. This person was created for you to enjoy at all times. It continues. The whole, which is at all times, which is on every occurrence. So any time that you all come together, at every occurrence, this is what you can be saturated with. And then it says, and be thou ravished, which is shagal, which means to go astray, to err, to swerve, to meander, to reel or roll in. And then it specifically is talking about the drunkenness of drink, or be intoxicated so with love. So that those words, go astray, err, swerve, meander, that means go wrong in her love, go astray in her love. So turn your back on everything else and just be caught up in the midst of the love that is shared between you and your wife sexually, instead of being caught up and going astray and erring in a relationship that is not even a relationship, or a temporary situationship with the strange woman. This is the encouragement of the Bible to show us the beauty of what God has planned out for us, right? So when we think about our society and just how different people live these days, and how marriage is not honored and there's so much divorce, it's encouraging to know that this actual institution of marriage has been set up by the Lord for a particular purpose, for those times, those occasions where you feel like you just want to have this love in this way, or you want to be loved in this way physically and sexually. You can have that with a wife, right? Someone that you commit to, that will commit to you. It's not easy, right? It's not easy to find these days, and it's not easy, but with God, all things are possible. And He's a rewarder of those that diligently seek Him. And so we can ask the Lord for this thing. We can ask Him, God, I really want this. Please, please allow me to have. And He will prepare you, and He'll prepare that person. And I encourage you, if you're looking for a wife or a husband, start praying for them. Start praying for them now. It is never too early to start praying for your husband or your wife. If it's something that you want, ask God for it. A father gives good gifts, and He's explaining one of these gifts in this passage. Always, and be thou ravished always. So earliest and oftenest is what it says. Continually, this is the word tamid, continually, ongoing, and without interruption. So as you know, as parents know, husband and wife, it's hard to find time uninterrupted, but it's possible, right? That's something that we as married people can ask God for. Lord, please set aside some uninterrupted time for us to engage one another sexually, so that we can come together. And with her love, it ends ahava, which is love between man and woman, which is beautiful. So it is beautiful just to come together in this way. And I'll share with you a revelation that I got this year, as I was actually doing the Year of the Bride fast, which is about becoming the bride and being prepared to be the bride that Christ is coming back for as his church. And so in that study, I realized that whenever we come together as husband and wife, it is renewing a covenant, right? So if you think about, in order to consummate a marriage is consummated or made official with the act of sex. And whenever you have sex in your marriage again and again, you're actually renewing the covenant that you first made. So this is a beautiful thing, and it's a powerful weapon against the enemy as well. Why? Because God honors covenants, right? So everything that came with that covenant, everything that was established when you committed yourself to that person, all the protection that and everything that came with that person, good and bad. Of course, there's bad, but you surrender that to the Lord and receive the good. And that person, that everything that you have that to give that person, that covenant is renewed and remembered, and should be remembered, right? It's remembered in our bodies, but it should be remembered by our minds when we come together to have sex. It's a beautiful thing to remember why God established you and that person together. If you think about your life in such a way where you look for the things that God did, you look for, dang, wow, he came at a time. I will tell you a little part of my testimony is my husband came at the time, the same year that my dad passed away. And I was a daddy's girl, very close to my father all growing up. And my dad, I was honored because my dad was able to meet my future husband the same year. So earlier that year, they met each other for the first time. This was before my husband and I even started dating. We were just talking, and his mom asked to meet my parents, who came into town just to see me and spend time with our family. And they asked to meet. We all went out and they had a ball. And we were like, they're having such a great time, I guess we should give this a try. And then we decided to date when our parents were meeting each other. And so we became more committed to each other. A few months later, my dad came back out because I was having a issue. And he just came to check on me in person, lay his eyes on his baby girl. And he got to actually see my husband play the drums. My husband's an excellent drum player and very passionate, anointed drummer for God. And my dad was able to witness that and to just spend time in a meal together. And just through that, my dad was really impacted by my husband, to the point where after my dad passed away and my dad's mother had dementia, so my grandmother, my husband and I went to go see her after she came to our wedding. And the dementia had picked up after she came to our wedding. And so she only had a few lucid moments. And she was able to say in one of those lucid moments, wow, are you Coco? Are you? So this is Marcus. And I was like, yeah. And she said, oh, he loved him so much. Willie G loved him so much. Like my dad loved Marcus, right? And I wouldn't have known that, right? And then I just had to reminisce on the timing that God did to bring him into my life so he could meet my dad. My dad could love him. And then it helped me to know, number one, that my dad liked him. That's all I knew, was that my dad liked him. 3 years before we actually got married, 4 years before we got married. And the fact that he was there in my life as a significant part of my life, him and his family, to bless me when my dad passed away. Me being out here in Maryland away from my family in California. And that whole family just came and embraced me ever since then. And that, I couldn't have orchestrated that better. I couldn't have planned that out. God in his sovereignty allowed that to happen in my life. And I will never forget how much of a blessing that my husband is because of how God brought us together. And so as husband and wife, we should be thinking about these things all the time and just meditating on them and praising God, just giving God glory and sharing with others the testimony of your union, because your union is a blessing. And the more you talk about your union, yes, it may make some people bitter, but that's not your problem. Your work here as a married couple is to be a blessing. And when you share with it blesses them. You share with other people what God has blessed you with and how he's blessed you in a husband or a wife. God gets the glory. So I encourage us, just as a community, as family, as the body of Christ, to come together and share with each other the goodness that God has done in your life. When you have a spouse, when you don't have a spouse, in good times, in bad times, just share what God is doing. Look for the things that God is doing and share about them, because it encourages one another and it brings us closer together as a family. So I hope this blessed you like it blessed me. It just feels good that the love, physical love, is honored by God, which is not taught, right? You don't grow up learning this in church. It's taboo. It's okay. As you mature, you will learn the truth, and the truth will set you free. And I hope this truth sets you free. So God bless you. I love you. Let me know what you think in the comments.